Okay, welcome back to the Algebra 2 Semester 1 final review. We're going to be looking at models for 13 and 14. Both of these problems involve inequalities, or less than or equal to signs, or greater than or equal to signs, those sort of things, okay? So what we're going to do here on problem 13 is we're going to start by distributing. So you get 6x minus 9 is greater than negative 2x plus 19. All right, collect your like terms by taking stuff over. So 6x is already over here. You're going to get a plus 2x joining it from the other side. And on this side, you have 19 to start with, but plus 9 coming from the other side. So we end up with 8x greater than 28. And if you divide by 8 here, you end up with x is greater than 28 divided by 8, which then just becomes 3.5. Now to graph this, you want to start your scale. I like to number mine every fifth one. The greater than sign that we have in the middle means that we're going to be shading to the right of an open circle that's located at 3.5. So there's the graph that completes problem 13. Okay, one just comment I'll make before I move on. This step here where we divided by that 8, if that would have been dividing by a negative number instead of that positive 8, you would have had to change the direction of that inequality. And that'll show up on some of these problems, where if you divide both sides by a negative number, and really multiplying both sides by a negative number does the same thing, you have to change the direction of the inequality. Okay, we got one more problem here to do, and this one starts out with two less than signs, one being less than or equal to, and when you put something in the middle like this, it's a way of indicating in between. So what we know on the start of this problem is that 2x minus 5 is in between negative 7 and 1. Now you're going to start these by, like you normally would, if you'll forgive me for a minute, I'm going to block off part of this problem. If it looked like that, then I'd be adding 5 to both sides. Well, the same thing would be true if the problem had started out looking like that. I would just simply add 5 to both sides. So what we're going to do instead is add 5 in all 3 spots. Which now tells me that 2x is in between negative 2 and 6. And now we divide everything by 2 to finish the job here. Now, if this was negative 2, we'd be flipping these signs and we'd have a more complicated problem. I think I made a mistake on the upper end. Let me see if I can erase this little or equal to. There we go. So our answers are between negative 1 and positive 3. And so once I get my scale set up here, we'll be able to indicate this. The thing to do here is to have evenly spaced marks on your scale. And you don't have to mark every one of them, but you do have to put enough on there that you can tell where these numbers are. Okay, negative 1, because of the or equal to, gets a solid dot, and positive 3 gets an open dot. And we want the numbers, the x values that are in between those two. All right, so there's models for problems 13 and 14.